Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Destiny Walkers Network Show. I am your host, Karis L. Reed. Happy Wednesday. Happy September. I am super excited. We are back on the scene, the Destiny Walkers Network Show, where we are empowering women to walk in purpose. Today's show is going to be a phenomenal guest by the name of Tamuri Richardson. And y'all know I'm bad with names, so we'll get her to confirm that when she comes on. So welcome to Destiny Walkers Network Show. Of course, I'm, as usual, on a few minutes early to say hello, make sure everything is set up, answer any questions, and to give some announcements. So I'm super excited. As you guys know, you've seen the posts, you've seen the videos saying that we are launching our Destiny Walkers Network Purpose magazine. So I'm super excited about that. If you have not already, go ahead and pre-order or order your copies of the Purpose magazine today. You can visit www.purposemagazineonline.com. We have a wonderful, phenomenal cover story, the beautiful, phenomenal Candace Joseph, where she talks about all things confidence in business and just give us an extensive interview about who she is and about the Joseph Consulting Firm, LLC. So I'm super excited that we have her as our cover story and so many other phenomenal women who has done articles, and we're also supporting a lot of small businesses with their advertisements as well. So again, support the Destiny Walkers Network Purpose Magazine and go to www.purposemagazine.com and order your copy today. So as we're waiting for our guests, we have 2 more minutes, and I'm going to make sure everything is connected on all platforms. If you're live, go ahead and tell me who you are and where you're chiming in from, and we'll give you a shout out. Okay, we're good on Periscope. Go ahead and let me know who you are and where you're chiming in from. We have 2 more minutes before our lovely guest comes in with us. Guys, don't forget, thank you for the thumbs up. Let me see who's coming in on Facebook. I'm trying to watch live myself so that I could be able to shout you out and interact with you. I know I have some regulars that always come in on Wednesdays. I know you by name. I have the phenomenal, of course, Candace Joseph. I have Sabrina Calloway, who is always our regular live viewers. Thank you so much for viewing us live on the Destiny Walkers Network Show. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. So we have 1 more minute and we'll be bringing our guest in. And we're going to get started. Okay, no comments as of yet. I am super excited for this phenomenal woman. She is an expert in mental health. And so we're going to be talking about that as her purpose. Okay, I don't see any comments as of yet. So cool. Again, let me know who you are, where you're chiming in from. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on Periscope, if you're on YouTube, and if you're on any of the Facebook Live pages, Destiny Walkers Network, the Destiny Walkers Network Show, and the Karis L. Reed page, we thank you so much for watching and chiming in with us live. Thank you also for watching the replay. So let us bring in none other than our phenomenal guest, Miss Tamuri Richardson. Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Let me make sure I can hear and I have volume, because last week we had a problem with our volume. Okay, I'm raising mine up. Hey, Ms. Richardson, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Am I okay?
Awesome. Yes, ma'am. I can hear you clearly as well. I just had to turn my volume up. I didn't realize it was down. So, okay, guys, welcome everyone to the Destiny Walkers Network Show. we have our special guest. And please, I'm bad with names. Tell me if I'm saying your beautiful name right. Is it Tamaria?
Tamuri.
Tamuri. Oh my goodness, I would have never known. That is
Right.
beautiful. We have the
Thank you.
phenomenal Tamuri Richardson as our guest this evening, where we are empowering women to walk in purpose. And our topic is mastering purpose as a mental health advocate and speaker. And I am super excited, Miss oh my goodness.
Tamuri. That's okay. It's a
Tamori.
tough
Okay, I got it now. I got it. Tamori. Got it.
one. Right.
But take your time. Miss Tamori, please give us a wonderful introduction of yourself. I'll let you have the floor, and then we're going to jump right in.
Absolutely. So I am a professional motivational speaker, mental health advocate. I'm a communication specialist, as well as an author, and I'm a mother of two teenage children and a Jackie of all trades.
You said Jackie. All
Right.
right. Okay, listen. Us women got to be a part of this world too. Can't just
That's
leave us
right.
out. We help build this thing.
That's right. That's right.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, how old are your beautiful sons? Or excuse me, your handsome sons, shall I say?
I have a 15-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter. So yeah,
Okay,
girl.
okay. So you do have a beautiful and a handsome. Awesome, awesome. Okay, wonderful. Well, let's jump right in. As we spoke briefly over the phone, I didn't really write down a whole bunch of questions. I just want this to be spontaneous and just, go with the flow. But I will ask you a few that I have written down. Let us know about Miss Tamari. How did this come about as you being or having the love and passion to be a speaker? Were you an outspoken child or teenager, or you just kind of pivoted as you got older?
Probably all of I was probably a quieter child. I am one of five. I grew up with four older brothers.
Okay.
And, so when you grow up with a lot of brothers and they're older, you kind of learn that, kind of your role is assumed to be kind of quiet and docile. So I like to think when I was younger, I was a lot quieter, but that didn't mix with my family because my mother's extremely assertive, go
Mm,
getter, and all of those things. So probably around the time I became a teenager, I came into my own.
okay.
But I always knew that I would end up in the world of speaking somehow. Even working in corporate America, I would head up presentations, travel around doing different
Oh
things
wow.
for the organization. So I always knew that was going to be my niche. It wasn't probably till about 6 years ago where I was like, you know what? I need to make sure my message is spot on, what the message is, that people care about it, and then go
Okay.
for it.
Okay. So you kind of you got into that mindset to narrowing it down and picking your niche and your audience with your speaking message.
Absolutely, because I'm like, you can't come in here with a whole bunch of. I was actually leaving a really bad toxic relationship. And
Mm,
that's what kind of catapulted me out
I've never
there
done
to
that.
get my message out. And so
Okay.
that kind of makes you clean it up and make it sharp because you want to make sure that other women that are hurting know how
Yeah.
to get out of that hurt. So that kind of catapulted it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Most definitely, most definitely. And I'm glad you said that because, and I often say everything that we go through is a part of our purpose. We don't understand it while we're going through. And just I'll just kind of backtrack. I wrote a book about hurt and domestic violence as well with my first marriage. But as I was going through that, I didn't understand why I was going through it, and I sure didn't understand who I was going to help. So I'm glad you were able to take that pain and put it into your passion and your purpose, and make a speaking career out of that, which led to other topics. And now you're walking in your purpose as a professional motivational speaker. So tell us, how did you get about crafting your message for women? Did you choose to empowerment through domestic violence because of your experience, or did you just choose to be a professional speaker towards women and did just kind of engrafted that topic within?
Well, I was always shooting towards the professional speaker world. That was always what I was going to do. What
Mhm.
geared me towards speaking about being a domestic violence conqueror and a
Mhm.
mental health advocate is due to
Yes.
my situation. And what I
Okay.
understood is, as tenacious and strong of a personality and a person that I am,
Yes.
there's
Yes.
someone out there that doesn't have all of that, that's
Mm.
struggling to try to will this in, figure out what they did, not knowing that none of this has nothing to do with you and you can't fix it. And I
Yeah.
wanted to be able to share that with women because we're obsessed with trying to put the pieces back together.
Come
And
on.
sometimes you just don't have the pieces and you just have to let that toy go and move on to something else. So I
That's
wanted
right.
to make sure they understood that I don't live in woe is me.
Come
I
on.
tell my story with only the intentions of letting you know, look at me now.
So you can
Period.
heal. Yes.
That's
Yes.
it.
So they can heal
Absolutely.
rather. Wow. That's
Absolutely.
beautiful. Okay.
Mhm.
So the mental health, becoming a mental health advocate and a certified mental health, for the National Alliance of Mental Health, was that because of that personal experience, or was it, did you have like family members that had mental health issues, or, you just kind of wanted to get in there and just be that superwoman to help, in that
Yeah,
area?
right. I wish it was that simple. No, the person I was married to had extreme mental illness. He was a drug
Oh,
addict, didn't know it, hit it very well, and was
mm,
bipolar disorder, schizophrenic, and definitely a narcissist. And
ooh,
so I knew nothing about that stuff. So, as educated and well read and well traveled as I was, that was something that I felt crept into my life. I didn't
wow.
even see it coming, and it came in like a wrecking ball seeking to destroy.
Come on.
And so, what I
Mm,
needed to do, as opposed to definitely getting out, was the mission. But I needed
yeah.
to understand how this was, and how
Wow.
the destruction and all of the things that came with it. I didn't understand any of it. And so once I got educated and I started training, it helped me to move past and get into a place past the trauma. Because once you understand something, then you
Yes.
know that even though this is a bad actor, some of this
Yes.
is out of their control. And then you don't
Wow.
internalize it and make it so personal. And that's what
Right.
I had initially done. But once you understand it and you know how to play and you know what the play and who the players are, then you know how to move forward. And so at that point, I wanted to make sure that everyone understood how to get the education, how to seek the help, and don't feel ashamed to. I came
Mm.
into the marriage with seemingly no issues and left with anxiety, PTSD, and depression. Now I've got a handle on
Wow.
all of that, but that was the gift that it gave me, right?
Yes.
So I wanted
Yes.
people to know that there's power after pain. It's all about how you
Come on.
channel it.
Wow, that is awesome. And as you were speaking, it brought back another memory. As you said, you didn't know this person had these type of issues. And it was a similar story with myself, because some men, they have this mask on. I use my marriage as an example. Oh, he was a church going person. He went to church every Sunday. He was the nicest thing on earth. I was the salt of the earth. Oh, but when we said I do,
Mm,
you know and so
different
I
person.
understand where you come from, when you say you didn't know, but as you got in and when it was all over, you had to understand that this person, it wasn't all a part of their fault, and you had to understand. It's almost like psychology.
Hmm.
I like to study psychology, the mindset. What is people thinking? And
Right.
so for you, you want to study the mental health, and you got your certification. So now you can be like, you know what? This is why he acted the way
Right.
he did. And now I
Right.
can forgive even more. And that's what I had to do. I had to understand why he was doing what he was doing. Could it be he was hurt? Is that why he hurt me? And now it's easy for me to forgive, because
Hmm.
it
And you
was just,
move on.
yeah, you
And it
move on.
really, once you get I tell people all the time, because I do a lot of interviews, I don't love him. I don't hate him. I don't wish
Yeah,
him good. I don't wish him bad. But I don't hold any space in my heart. I don't hold any pain in my heart. Life
yeah.
has moved on. But in order to do that, you really have to understand what you went through, and you have to do the work. I went into therapy to make sure that I was able to keep me going mentally
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on myself as well. Once you do the work, then you can
Mm-hmm.
move forward. If I had any feelings of hate or anger, that would just stifle me. Now, who's that hurt?
That's right.
So it didn't that wouldn't allow me to become what I know I'm destined to become. So you move forward and you keep it pushing.
That's right. And so now that you're certified through is it the National Alliance of Mental Health?
Mental illness, yes.
Mental illness. Okay, mental illness. What was that process like? Was it a year certification? Did they have you do, trainings? What was that process like?
You do a lot of training. You do a lot of training. They want to make sure, number one, a lot of things to mental health advocacy. I'd met with someone who told me they wanted to be a mental health advocate. And I was like, great, wonderful. We need that. Been through a lot of trauma in their life. And so I was
Yes.
trying to explain to the young woman what she needed. Oh, well, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. Oh, because I've been through I told her there's so much more than you just knowing what trauma is. NAMI teaches you the
Wow.
vernacular, how to communicate. There are words that you can utilize for someone and trigger them. How
Woo.
to be able to make sure that you're showing appropriate empathy, to make sure that you know the difference between, words that are coming out of your mouth, the different illnesses, because there are multiple amounts of mental illnesses that we don't even know anything about. So we're just talking about the
Wow.
basic stuff. So you could be dealing
Wow.
with someone that's dealing with something that hasn't even been diagnosed, but how to
Mm.
communicate with them, how to communicate with their family, how to show empathy, how to gauge them and try to steer them towards treatment. Because I always encourage seeking out therapy to any degree if you need to. So I'm still training. I just had a training the other night. You never stop learning, especially when it's mental illness, because the mind is always evolving, and we have to always stay on top of that.
Wow, that's beautiful. And you're so right. You like you just mentioned, I didn't even know that there were so many aspects of mental illness. From my past experience, what I know the term schizophrenic, multiple personalities,
Mhm.
and so those are probably just two of many. And so, like you say, you never know what a person is diagnosed with. Once they're diagnosed with mental illness, it goes beyond just mental illness, right? It has to be
Right,
categorized. Okay.
right.
And so, do they have to get medication, or is that up to the individual themselves or the family of the individual who has the mental illness?
It's always up to the individual. But what we have found, and I think it has been proven, is that if you have, let's just put, for instance, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, those are mental imbalances. So if
Okay.
you're mentally imbalanced, you need something to help stabilize you. And in the
Yeah.
case of my ex, who a lot of times, if he wasn't medicated, apologize, really lived in another world, wasn't able to
Mm.
function properly, operate properly, and really couldn't hold down a job properly. Yeah, he might play around with it for a couple of months, might even be able to stagger it around for a year, but nothing tangible. So that medication is needed. And what we
Okay.
try to do with NAMI, especially, is let them know that, listen, because you have a mental illness does not mean that you are not just as capable, just as have the potential to be just as great. Matter of fact, bipolar people are some of the most creative people in the world. Some of
Wow.
the most well-known geniuses have bipolar disorder. But it's about getting them to understand that while you look at it like it's a curse, there are
Mhm.
blessings that come with it. Now learn
That's
how to manage it and maintain it so that it's a benefit to everyone that comes into your circle and it's not
mhm.
destructive. That's what we do. Try to help them see the benefits and how getting the help you need, whatever it is, can help keep you stabilized and you can have a much better productive life. Relationships, who wants to jump out of relationship to relationship from year to year because you can't keep it together? No one wants that.
No one wants that. And it makes you, it causes other imbalances. It causes
Yes.
that would lead to depression. It, I mean, stress, anxiety, and it's just now is all these things on top of the mental illness. So I
Mm-hmm.
really believe, like you say, even though it's up to the individual, it's imperative that they make that choice to get the medication. Have you ever advised someone who did not want to take the medication to take it based on their, their potential, their full potential that you've seen in them? Like you just mentioned, there are some of the greatest geniuses in the world who are bipolar, but if they understand the purpose that they have, the creativity, they can go beyond just being a person with bipolar or mental illness. So have you ever had to console someone to do that?
Well, you know what? This is what I will say. And one of the things that NAMI also encourages, that we're all still free moral agents. So
Yeah.
unless you've been deemed that you're insane or insanity and you don't have the free will for yourself, it's what we do is we encourage, we put the
Okay.
resources out there, but it
Okay.
has to be up to them. Because if
Mm.
we're trying to, encourage you to take medication or manipulate you into taking medication, well, you're just going to stop. And
Okay.
heart stopping medication is kind of like a brain crash. That's no good either.
Mm.
So that could put you in a worse situation than you were in before. But we try to
Oh,
encourage them to get the help that they need, the
okay.
resources that they need. And by getting those resources, if it turns out to be in the way of medication and that's what they choose to do, then we encourage that as well. but we don't list medications. We don't make medicational recommendations. It has to be their journey. They have to understand it.
Okay. Awesome. I understand. And that makes a lot of sense because again, too, I'm pretty sure national the alliance has policies to where they don't want to be held, accountable for being law,
That's right.
sued and things of that sort. So it makes a whole lot of sense that you encourage it, but you don't push it upon anyone and you let that be the individual choice. Definitely understandable. Okay,
Yeah,
understand. So
absolutely.
tell
Because
us.
some medications can trigger you in the opposite direction. So we can't be held
Wow.
accountable. We don't be held accountable for that.
That's right. Okay, definitely understood. So in your, and I want to cover this past experience. How long did it take you to forgive your ex who you found out was mentally ill and brought this into the marriage after it was the I do process? How long after the marriage did he just change from who he was when you first met or when you courted or when you dated to this unknown person who just, needed help?
Well, let me say this. I have to accept responsibility in some of this too, and I'll tell you why.
Amen. Yes.
I always tell people I didn't vet him properly.
Okay.
So I can't put all the blame. Now, let's be clear, a good 98% of it is all him,
Yeah.
right? Good
Yes.
98.9.
Yes.
But
Well, me too.
I, right, but I didn't vet him properly. And
That's
had
right.
I done that, and I always talk to people now about please meet the family. Do not marry, date
Woo.
any man. If you have not met his mother, his sister, and his children, his father, that is the precursor to everything that you are going to deal with. I promise you, there are very few exceptions to that rule. But
Wow.
had I done that properly, I would not have walked in those shoes. So I
Mm.
have to accept personal responsibility for
Mhm.
not having had done that. I already had two children before, and I brought someone in with severe mental illness, drug addiction that I didn't know about into my
Yes.
kids' life as well.
Wow.
So going through my therapy helped me to
Mhm.
be able to keep and the focus on me. So the focus wasn't on him, it was on
Okay.
me and moving past it. Now, when you say forgiving, I don't know how close there I am. What I
Okay.
have done is I accepted that he didn't have full control of
Okay.
himself. I accepted that drugs was a huge participant and the longest relationship he'd had in his life. I understand
Mm.
that the mental illness prevented him from being the man that maybe he could have been had there not been drug addiction. I
Yeah.
understand and I accept all of that.
Wow.
But as far as forgiveness, I don't know how close I am there because he also brought a woman into the relationship and
Mm.
added other polarities that were unnecessary. But what I am is, I am free of any
Yeah.
emotional turmoil. I do not think,
Ooh.
crave, have any desire or any interest in him. So those
Yes.
things for me are very freeing. I will get to the forgiveness because I think that completely puts a period on it. But
Mm-hmm.
I have no contact. He has tried to contact me. I do not respond. And
Mm.
life is just onward and upward. But
Yes.
forgiveness, yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get there, but I'm definitely free. I'm definitely happy. And life is, I'm living my best life. I don't know about nobody else.
Okay. Hallelujah. Look, I promise you, we almost have similar stories. It's like OM and the G. Because again, when I was writing my book, it was like, you know what? It took me years to forgive my ex as well. But I also had to take responsibility because, my father in heaven who loves me dearly. It's like I've heard him say with a clear loud voice, do not marry this man.
Right.
I saw the sign after sign after sign, but wanted to be loved, wanted to be that beautiful bride, wanted to be, the married, and it was just like, you know what? Now that I'm in it, I found myself sitting in the tub and like, Lord, if you get me out of this,
Right.
I will
Yeah.
obey you. So
Yeah.
it's like the forgiving, it will take place, but in its own time, because
Right.
everybody at their different stage. It's like we know we have to forgive because he says in the scripture to forgive in order to
Of
be forgiven.
course.
We have to have our own season. We have to have our own healing process and our own healing time. So I commend you for being honest and sharing that with us, because so many people like, yeah, I forgave him. okay, you said it with your words, but have you really, really forgave them? And you
Right.
honestly told us, I'm not there yet. And so I love you for that. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
absolutely.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful. Wow, awesome. So you are the CEO of T. Lee and Speaking Pros.
Mhm.
Wow, the master. Matter of fact, you are the first place winner of the Toastmasters speaking. Tell us about that experience. I never got into a Toastmasters, but I always heard and I was always invited to it. So I know it's an experience that's fun and very, engaging. Tell us, how did you win first place? What's going on here?
Well, listen, girl, several first places, but I'm not bragging. I'm just saying. I actually started it a while ago, and I
Okay.
had to stop because my ex-husband had issues going on, and when you're dealing with someone with issues, it's hard to focus on you and them. So then you forget that you
Yes.
exist. You focus on them. Um, but then when that hurricane hit, I was able to go back
Mm,
to Toastmasters, and I was already a speaker. So
yes.
Toastmasters, what it did was, and I would encourage Toastmasters to anyone, they have a really good roadmap
Okay.
on giving you access to different type of genres of speaking. And
Oh
so
wow.
since I'm already comfortable with it, I tell people all the time, I came out the womb speaking, I already know. And so so public
Yes.
speaking is normal. And so what I just started doing was, first I started with the college. I would join their forensic workshop, and we do persuasive speaking competitions with other colleges, and I was knocking out first place there. And then
Oh,
Toastmasters had their competition, and I won out of four. I won three of the first places. The fourth one was to go to the international. I think it was to Paris or something of that. So I was one of the. I didn't even place in that one, but I was definitely in that competition. But it's just always been something that I love. I love communicating, but I love communicating with purpose. And so anything that allows you to maybe learn something extra, something, I'm all for it. So Toastmasters, I think, is everyone should do it. Everyone.
awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm going to get around to it. I do have a personal speaking coach, and I believe everyone has to have their own coaching to perfect you. As we're adults, no one could never know too much. You only get better and better and better at your craft. And so I
That's
do have
right.
a professional speaking coach, and I see that you have your T. Lee and Speaking Pros so that you coach other professional speakers and you coach women. And I see that you had an article where you had oh my goodness, this was so exciting. I read this article. You have had a session or you're teaching children how to do public speaking, which
I am. Yes.
okay, that is phenomenal.
Yes.
And let me just read a little bit what you said in that article. I had wrote it down. It said it teaches them balance, that the world isn't black and white, but gray all over, and they have to be prepared to look someone in the eyes, shake their hand, and have a full intelligent conversation with nouns, adjectives, commas, and etc. That is phenomenal. Tell us about that article and why it was important. Why is it important that parents need to read this article and get their children into a speaking program like yours?
I think I have two teenagers, and my teenagers talk really proper, probably over proper, but they
Good.
know the lingo out there and the pop culture sayings. But it's important for children and teenagers and young adults to know that texting just started, honey. We were doing real sentences way back in the day, and and as you know, everything makes us shift back around. It is
Yes, yes.
important to be able to communicate and to be
Mhm.
able to go on a job interview, and you're not using acronyms from texting because you don't know how to be able to put together a full sentence and communicate.
Yes.
And so I started with my kids, but I have on Saturday I do 3 workshops for public speaking and debate, and they are second, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and middle school. And we go
Wow.
over how to argue in a respectful manner. So debate is just
Wow.
another form of argumentation. It's just another way of arguing, but not getting into the hustle and bustle of it. And how to
Yes.
formulate sentences, how to communicate what you feel as opposed to throwing tantrums and being comfortable. Because speaking teaches confidence. And
Yes.
you want to always feel like you're in control of yourself. So I do that with the young people. I love it. We have such a good time because when they first started, they barely could
Awesome.
talk, and we do it over Zoom and have their video on. Now we laugh, we have a good time. I put them in breakout rooms. They're doing mini debates. It's so awesome to see
Woo!
them grow. Yeah.
Awesome. That
So
sounds phenomenal. It sounds awesome. Now, is this a service that you do, out of, giving back or paying forward, or is there a cost that parents can put their children into this program for their children speaking?
definitely, well, there is a program. I have quite a few kids, and it's definitely something. But I'm listen. I believe that we are in service to each other. We're supposed to be in service to each other. So if someone
Mhm.
ever comes to me and really want that and couldn't afford it, hands down, absolutely, I'm going to
Yeah.
help them. But it's definitely something that a service that I charge for. I
Okay.
also consult with companies and their communication presentation skills. I have a large client in Dubai that I do media communications for. Their women
So
are really getting into a place of their own and needing to be able to make sure they can communicate properly and have that confidence in front of the camera, shooting that all around the world. So it's just it's out of tragedy comes triumph, and it's just amazing to be able to have
yes.
something that is of use and of benefit to people. And I think we have to start with our kids.
That's right. That's right. Because they are the next generation. After we're gone, it's going to be them. And
Right.
so I definitely commend you for that. And matter of fact, your service is the first one that I've heard. Now, I know there's others out there, especially as an African American service. And so I
Mhm.
commend you for that. And it's much needed. And if by all means there's any kind of way I could market that for you, whether through the Purpose Magazine or the Destiny Women of Destiny podcast, please let me do so because it is definitely much needed service for our children today. So thank you for actually providing that. It's a wonderful service. And guys, if you haven't read the article, please go to Tamara on excuse me, Tamari, right?
Yes.
Tamara Richardson, please forgive me, on Facebook and read this article. It is off the charts. It is phenomenal. It is on community.com today. Did I say that right?
Hmm. That's right.
Okay, it is on community.com today. Please get this article and go to her website and get information about how to get your children into her program, speaking program. Now, define what empowerment means to you. I was excited when I went to your website and I saw that you put the flyer that we created for the show on there, and then you put the tagline, Empowering Women to Walk in Purpose. And you said, read more. And when I clicked read more, you had this phenomenal saying about empowered. Please tell us what that means to you and how you just what empower means to you.
I think it's for me to empower means for me to leave you with a gift. And if that gift is you feeling better about yourself, you feeling confident, you feeling like you have the ability to set the world on fire, that's what it is to do. When I talk to people about the situation that I went through, it's to encourage them to not be a cautionary tale. It's to encourage them to not make these hiccups, to step over what I stepped over, to jump over the hurdles that I jumped over, because I want you to be better. I don't want you to be like me, kind of like me, under me, but to go further than what I did, to avoid the
Yes.
pitfalls. So to empower you is really for me to want the absolute best for you and encourage you to be at your absolute greatest at all times.
Amen. And that is why you're part of the National Coalition, the 100 Black Women. Tell us about this organization. That is so phenomenal. I'm like, what? The 100 Black Women? Where is my ticket at? Tell us about this chapter and what it does to our wonderful African American women in the community.
Absolutely. So, yes, I am a member of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, the Oakland Bay Area chapter. And we are an organization built on service for Black women and young Black girls. We have a mentoring program that's called Positive Steps, where we're teaching them leadership skills. They created an app, the STEM program. We
Wow.
go on Black College Expos, field trips. I'm actually not in that program, but that's one of the programs we have. I'm a part of the Public Policy Committee. We just had a webinar in July about racial injustice, and we had the privilege of having Bakari Sellers was our special guest on there, and the chief of police
Wow.
and a couple of other notables. And we had lively discussion about that. We also had on August the 10th a webinar about the importance of voting, the importance of voting as Black people, why it's important to know
Yes.
local government, who your mayor is, what he's for. Your mayor hires your chief of police. That's why we need to know as Black people.
Yes.
Can't complain about it.
Yes.
If you don't vote, you don't know, right?
Come on.
And we also did webinars on mental health, the Black
Yes.
experience. So, human sex trafficking. We are very
Mhm.
involved in the community. That
Awesome.
is our purpose. And we
Yes.
do it at our own expense. We do it at our
Yes.
own time. And we do it for the
Mhm.
love of our people. Simple as
Yes.
that.
Simple as that. That is so phenomenal, especially for, and I know the women, we, empower each other and being, having the love for each other, but especially for the young girls and
Yeah.
teenagers, they are the ones who are able to birth children. And if they don't get this molding in between their birthing age and elementary, what you guys are doing, this molding, they're just going to go forward with having children with nothing, no substance in between. So it's beautiful how the National Coalition of the 100 Black Women is doing these programs. This is a nonprofit organization, right?
That's correct. And we are national. So we're in most states around the world. Absolutely.
Well, awesome, awesome. I wonder why I'd never heard of it in Houston, Texas. Is there a chapter here in Houston, Texas, or in
Oh,
Texas? I'm
there would
pretty
have to
sure.
be. Texas is just too big. Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Exactly. I
Absolutely.
would definitely look them up. Yes, most definitely. That is phenomenal. Well, I love that you do that. Like you did say, you are a woman of many hats and a Jackie of all trades, but you're a
Right.
professional at it. And it's your passion, it's your purpose. Your purpose is speaking, your purpose is being the mental health advocate, and you're doing it well, and you're doing it so
Yeah.
phenomenally. Before we leave, tell us about your book. I believe one of the titles is Get in Touch. No, that's not it. I wrote it down.
That's okay. Trusting someone else's heart.
I think I dropped my page. Okay, tell us about your book. You are an author.
Yes,
You're a professional
of
author.
course.
Let us know about your
Um,
book.
yes, this is my second book. My first book was 10 Steps to Becoming a Highly Effective Public Speaker. And
Okay.
this one is Trusting Someone Else's Heart. And this is
Mm,
an instructive novel. I wrote this because I wanted to be able to share my experience that I had gone through. When I
mhm,
give different conferences and seminars, or I do a keynote address for domestic violence, you know, prevention, whatever the case might be, I have people come up to me that are want to hug me, want to shake my hand. I didn't know
mhm,
how I was going to get out of this situation. Oh my
mm.
God, you are living my life. Everything you just said. So
Wow.
I put my story live and in Memorex on paper because I wanted them to
Yes.
know
Yes.
all the nitty gritty because I've moved past it. But I also wanted them
Yes.
to understand how I was able to move past. And
Yes.
don't allow that to break you. Don't allow that to beat you down. This is what the situation is. Now you create something different for yourself. And here's some of the things I did that works for you. Great. Here's your own roadmap. I entitled it Trusting Someone Else's Heart because that's in essence what we're doing. We're trusting
Wow.
that someone that says they love you legitimately knows what love is.
Mm.
But what happens is you marry someone that it's a word. I love my shoe. I love my coat. It means nothing to them.
That's right.
So it's what we do. We trust that you are who you are when we meet you and that
Yes.
you're going to be who you said that you were. So that's why I entitled that, but it's an instructive novel. It goes into more of my experience. But I want women to use me as a cautionary tale and know that when you see this stuff coming, girl, put on your Nikes and start running.
Run!
Drop your purse, your coat. Don't you look back. That's what I
Yes.
want to know.
Yes. It's like warning. These are the signs.
Right,
You better have
right.
your Nikes in your purse.
Get your keys
Wow.
out of the car. Right.
Look, I'm trying to told you. Look. I know it's not proper communication, but I had to say that one on this. Run for your insanity. I'm telling
Yes.
you, because
Yes.
like you said, you've been through it, and it when you got out of it, it took you to anxiety. So many things that you were not, you know, a part of when you got into it. And the same for me as well. I was in depression and things of that sort. But it's so phenomenal, and you know that is your purpose when women walk up to you and tell you that. And
Yes.
so that's the most wonderful
Yeah. That's
feeling
the
that
reward.
anyone,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that anyone could ever hear as they're
Yeah.
walking in the purpose as a speaker and as an advocate for mental health. So you are definitely doing your thing. You are shining like the diamond that you are, and you are touching so many women's lives with your story and with your speaking career and with your certification as a mental health advocate. So with that being said, I'm going to put your social media handles up here. And if you want to give us any last words on anyone who knows someone with mental health, anyone out there who may have the symptoms, what can you tell, any woman or man out there who's listening in the audience today about mental health and how to, be an advocate or get the proper help for it?
Well, the first thing that I would say is that the person has to want to get the help. If
Okay.
not, then you're looking into a bumpy ride, you're looking into an unhappy ride, and you're looking at someone who cannot manage their lives properly. And if they can't manage their lives properly, what do you think that's going to be for your life? One of the most important things that I will leave you with, and I tell people all the time, is presumptuous of us to think that we can control someone else's destiny, their life, the
Mm,
trajectory in which it's going. That's very presumptuous. We're not God. We don't
yes,
have the capabilities. So if they come
that's
to
right.
you with all of these pieces missing, you have to allow them to fix those pieces and move on and try to have the best life that you possibly can if they're not willing to make the effort to get themselves together. So enjoy your life.
That's beautiful. Amen. And where can we find your books at? Is it Amazon or on your website?
Yes. The Trusting Someone Else's Heart has not come out yet. It will be out this month. Supposed to be out in September. August, I apologize. It's
Okay.
going to be out in September. But it will be on
Okay.
Amazon.com, Barnes and Nobles, as well as my website that you have up, tleannespeaks.com as well. And it'll be on Facebook.com under T. Leanne Speaking Pros, or they can find it under Tamuri Richardson on Facebook as well.
Awesome. That is beautiful. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, phenomenal people, please follow Miss Tamuri Richardson. Go to www.tleannespeaks.com and get information from her on how to schedule a consultation with her on mental health, as well as a service for your child to learn how to do public speaking. She does some phenomenal things. You see the website, you see her social media handles. Please give her a strong follow. Miss Tamuri Richardson, we thank you so much for being who you are, for walking in your purpose, for taking the time out to be with us on this wonderful evening. I will not let this be the last. I promise you, we definitely got to have you back once the book is out and ready to be given to those who are definitely wanting to read it and learn from it as well. So thank you so much, everyone. If you are here, please let us know again where you're coming in. The Desk Work Show. Yes, Miss Tony Richardson. Else next week we're going to have a phenomenal lecture by Talia West, professional, um, also in their teams for their natural hair. So if you don't want to show on next Wednesday, so again, thank you, Miss Tamuri Richardson. We love you. We love you. We love you. Have a wonderful evening. And again, guys, see us on next week at the same time and same channel. Talk to y'all soon. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye, Miss Tamuri. Bye bye.